Steve Morgan here, Fishing Monthly Magazine's coming out of Whittley's brand new dealership at the Boat Works here on the Gold Coast. I've got Laurie Jackson with me. And Laurie, Whittley's, you haven't been able to see a whole range of them in one spot, well, forever, I think, in Queensland anyway, mate. Your new dealership has a Whittley for everyone.
Yeah, we've got something for everybody, as you said. We've got Sea Legend, we've got Clearwater, and we have the Cruiser range, and we have a varied lot of models in the showroom. There's something there for everybody to look at.
And because you're on the water here on the Coomera River, you're able to take people for a water test on what might be their ideal family boat.
Exactly, yes. And we quite often do that. We just take people down in between the rail and the road bridge, and it's open water down there. We can go, 40 knots, so we can get a pretty good performance test out of it for folks, yeah.
So the Whittley brand itself, it's Australian built and proudly Australian built. Take us a little bit about through where this boy was built.
So this boat was built in Campbellfield in Melbourne. It's always been built by Whittley. The family name is Whittley. 67 years ago, Ozzie and Jim Whittley started up building a Bondwood boat in their garage, in fact. And after 67 years, we've arrived at these beautiful fibreglass boats.
Now, this is a Sea Legend 25. Take us through what the Sea Legend range is. Let's drill down into the Whittley range. What's it all about?
Well, our Sea Legend range is tradition and has traditionally always been an offshore boat that is affordable from the SL20, 22, SL25, which we have here with the twin rig, closable doors, and then it goes 26 and 28. Right up to the 28, we have a pretty big range of Sea Legend.
Now, this one here, this is a 25-footer. It's got the twin Yamaha 150s on the back in outboard configuration. You can get Sea Legends, though, in inboard and outboards, can't you?
Certainly, yes. We have Sea Legend Volvo Penta, which runs from 200 horsepower single prop through to the 280 in the 6-cylinder with duo prop systems, and we also have V8s in the Volvo Penta.
Now, this Sea Legend 25, it's a hardtop boat, and it's also got the enclosed cabin doors. In Queensland, it's probably not the most prevalent option on the water. Tell us the advantages of that enclosed wheelhouse.
That enclosed wheelhouse, well, for a start, the Sea Legend brand has a very, very soft, dry ride. It's a quiet ride, and with the doors closed, you have no water coming in from behind when you're coming home after those long days out in the ocean. You might have to come home 50, 60 k's. It's a soft, dry ride, and you don't get any from following sea or anything. There's no problems.
I think in Queensland as well, it's all about staying out of the sun as well, and just to be able to stay out of the weather. If you've run out to the reef for a day, it's a long day on the water. Let's make sure you come home in comfort. Now, this thing, it's sitting on a twin-axle Mackay trailer. What does it weigh in at, and what do you need to tow it?
You need either a Ranger ute or a Ford ute or a Toyota in that sort of ilk with a 3.5 tonne capacity, or a 200 series a Toyota. Does the job quite nicely.
Awesome. Well, this is one of the first twin rig Whittleys that I've tested. Let's go and talk to Will Lee from Yamaha about the advantages of that setup. So here they are, a couple of big Yamaha F-150s, and we've got two of them on the back of this Whittley Sea Legend. Will Lee, what's the advantages of a twin rig compared to a single rig motor? Like, I look at this and think, should I put a 300 horsepower on, or a 2 150 is going to do it?
That's a really good question, Steve, and I guess if you were to really dumb it down, you're talking about two 2.7 litre inline fours here. If you were to put a single engine on this boat, you'd likely run a V6 300, a 4.2 litre engine. So if you double the capacity, 2 by 2.7 is what?
Yep.
I'm asking you.
5.4.
Testing your maths. Well done. Versus 4.2. So you got more capacity. So you got a V6 versus 4 cylinders through the combination of two inline fours. So you got more torque essentially. So if you were going to buy this boat and fish with a lot of your big mates and you had a lot of weight on board, you may opt for twins. Equally, a single engine works very well as well. What twins give you in a marina or in a tight space that you're working is a little bit more boat control, and that's by using trim and then also throttles back and forth, forward and reverse and so forth, and we can show you that today in the marina of just how that works. So twins probably give you a little bit more manoeuvrability. If you drill right down on it, it's really up to the end user how they want to use their boat and what they're doing with it. So
back in the old days when you had a couple of big old carbide 2-bangers on the back, it was probably a reliability thing, but nowadays that's not really an option, is it? Like, motors nowadays are reliable enough to not need a twin rig.
Yeah, you're exactly right. 30 years ago, twin engines were, so if one was to fail at sea, you had the other one to come back on. Now, the fact of the matter is, what's going to probably cause you drama at sea is bad fuel or water in your fuel tank, in which case one engine will go down just as much as two will go down in those scenarios, which isn't the engine's fault. You're just running bad fuel or you've got water in your system. So it's no more is twin engines really for reliability. It's more about torque and pushing a heavy load, or if you were going to tow, say, a smaller boat behind. So.
Yep. Well, they do say that there is no replacement for displacement. Let's get this thing on the water and take this twin rig for a spin. You know what? I've tested a lot of Whittley boats over the years, and this is the Whittley that I am most excited by as an angler. It's got all of the fruit, this one. It's a true demo boat that the guys have had in some serious country. Didn't get to go fishing in it today, but we did get to burn it around the Gold Coast and see exactly what the SL25 powered by twin 150 Yamahas can actually do. Now, as Will Lee told us before, this is a pair of 2.7 litre outboards on the back, which give you some serious capacity. That's a total of 5.4 litres pushing you along. Of course, you could have the option to put a single outboard on the back here. A whole decision is whether you want the torque, whether you want the lightweight and the cost of a single outboard. It is actually a little bit more expensive to set them up with the twin outboards, but this can be your choice when it comes to ordering the boat. Definitely quick out of the hole. You know, you put the hammers down on this boat, it jumps out of the hole, and it can handle a lot of the smaller seas and swells without even slowing down. Also, I think this boat really looks the goods. It's a very well balanced design. The wheelhouse is the right size, the wheelhouse is really comfortable, and on the water it definitely turns a lot of heads, and that's both on the water and on that twin axle trailer when you're getting to and from the ramp. When it comes to the trailer, this boat does weigh in at over 3 tonnes when you're full of petrol, full of water and ready for a weekend away. So tow vehicle choice is quite important. It needs to be a handle that 3.5 tonnes and above if you're serious about towing this thing safely around. Of course, it runs electric over hydraulic brakes, which is something that you will need to keep maintained. Keeping safe when you're towing is an option with this boat, but it does come in under that 2.5 metre range, which means you don't have to have any oversized banners, etc. on it. So in that respect, it's easy to tow around. When it comes to options on the boat itself, this thing's got an arm as long as your arm. It's got the hydraulic Bennett trim tabs on the back, which you can use for levelling load. This one's got a set of outriggers on there so the game fishermen can get stuck into it. It's got the electric winch, which nobody wants to pull up the anchor on a 25-foot boat, so you push the button, that happens for you. It's got the lockable wheelhouse, and I never used to be a fan of lockable wheelhouse boats, but the more of them I go in, the more comfortable I think they are. And if you have a nasty afternoon and things get real out there, you can just shut those doors and get home in absolute comfort. So from a security point of view, from a comfort point of view, I really like it. This one's got a couple of tuner tubes on the back here to keep your liveys in good condition, and of course it's got upgraded electronics in it, upgraded the Garmin, the Fusion sound systems are great. This one has really been set up to impress, and of course this is sold. They've sold many boats off this boat. It has been a demo that's done the rounds around the east coast of Australia. Negatives: you're going to need a big wallet to take one of these fellas home. As tested right today, you do get change out of $200,000, but it's only $10. So $199,990. You're going to drag this thing home. So put the hammers down on these Yamahas and they definitely go, but what's the economy like? Well, it's surprisingly good at cruising speeds. At between 3.5 and 4,000 RPM, you get 1.15 kilometres per litre of fuel burn, and that's between both of the engines when you add them together. At 6,000 RPM, it goes 81 kilometres an hour, so it's really hooting along, but you only get 700 metres per litre of fuel burn there. So that efficiency drops down by about 50% when you put the hammers all the way down. Now, this test boat comes with a 240 litre fuel tank, and at those economical speeds that gives you over 250 kilometres of range. But if you want to sacrifice the 40 litres of water which is in this boat, you can put a 350 litre tank in, and that will give you over 350 kilometres of range, and that should be plenty for a weekend away fishing with the boys. If you want more information on these boats and the SL25 really you like the look of it and you want to look at getting Whittley to build you one up to your specifications, visit whitleymarineGroup.com.au. They've got some great tools on there for you to put packages together, and like Whittley Boats on Facebook for the latest updates for when boats like this are going to be available at a boat show near you. That's assuming we are going to be able to have boat shows again after COVID. But from the Gold Coast and from Whittley's new showroom, this is Steve Morgan checking out for Fishing Monthly Magazines.